The mission began with the arrival at the killer's house, where the traitor was found sleeping soundly before his swift arrest. Renee slammed the bastard to the ground, furious at the plot against Prince Roland's grand plans for the Empire. Nightingale stepped forward during the interrogation, demanding to know the identity of the mastermind behind the recent murders. The prisoner admitted he was offered gold for every person killed, a plan designed to make civilians lose faith in the police. He recalled a mysterious uniform bearing a flower petal symbol, which Renee immediately identified as the honeysuckle crest. A sudden realization hit Nightingale. The prince was meeting with the elites in a conference room with no guards to protect him. She sprinted toward the castle, her heart racing as she feared they were playing right into the assassin's hands. Upon reaching the scene, Nightingale saw a body on the ground and feared that Roland had been killed in the struggle. Her tears turned to joy as the body was revealed to be the assassin, while Roland stood nearby, unharmed and calm. Roland explained that Sylvie's immediate warning allowed him to draw his revolver and eliminate the threat before it escalated. The prince reprimanded Petrov for the security breach, demanding an immediate investigation into the assassin's origins. A special cloth had saved Roland's life, preventing the assassin's dagger from piercing his skin during the surprise attack. For her failure in duty, the young witch Lightning was sentenced to complete 3 difficult exercises in math and science. Roland thanked Nightingale for her concern, reassuring her that her efforts were the reason the assassination ultimately failed. The investigation revealed the assassin carried a crest belonging to the royal court, suggesting ties to the late King Wimbledon. Roland theorized that Timothy had found a list of sleeper agents and forced them to carry out these desperate orders. Late that night, Nightingale quietly slipped into Roland's room, seeking comfort in his presence despite her lingering guilt. The next day, the prince set out for the mines, intent on uncovering the resources needed for his next technological leap. A guide named Denver explained that the mines were currently flooded, halting all operations until the summer months. Roland was undeterred, knowing that his newly developed steam engines could easily siphon the water and restart production. To show their gratitude, the mining family presented the prince with an exquisite rainbow stone of legendary quality. Roland recognized the stone as diaspore, a mineral that indicated the area was rich in valuable aluminum deposits. He realized that what the miners had discarded as waste was actually the raw material for smelting, a true industrial treasure. Aluminum would revolutionize his technology, promising new materials for everything from industry to advanced transportation. Meanwhile, on Slumber Island, Princess Tilly was welcomed home by the witches she had worked so hard to protect. Tilly believed that education was the key to growth, even if others worried about the time and resources it required. The explorer Thunder shared his latest discoveries, describing a sea line where ships could somehow sail on vertical water. He spoke of whirlpools that seemed to swallow the ocean whole, suggesting a massive hole at the bottom of the seafloor. Back in the western region, Roland's newly designed ships were being loaded with thousands of eager people heading to Border Town. Anna was hard at work constructing the first true warship, resolving complex engineering challenges with ease. The ship was officially named Roland 1, a vessel that would represent a new era of naval power. Reports arrived that Timothy had sent a fleet to blockade the river, aiming to cut off Border Town's vital trade routes. Roland didn't hesitate. He set sail with the First Army, his target being none other than the capital itself. Nightingale noticed his good mood, realizing that Roland was finally ready to end the long conflict with his brother. She pledged her life to him once more, promising to follow him wherever his path to unification led. The steel warship barreled toward the wooden blockade, moving at a speed that left the enemy stunned. The collision was catastrophic as the wooden boats were crushed by the sheer weight and force of the steel hull. Iron Axe unleashed the heavy machine guns, the barrage of bullets tearing through the shields and hulls of the enemy. Within minutes, the blockade was destroyed, and Roland's path to the capital was finally clear. As he marched through the fallen capital, Roland knew that this was just the beginning of a new era for Grey Castle. As he marched through the fallen capital, Roland knew that this was just the beginning of a new era for Grey Castle. The investigation into the assassin show revealed a deep-rooted conspiracy involving the late king's secret sleeper agents. Roland realized that Timothy was using these rings to coerce the remaining loyalists into suicide missions. To secure the kingdom's future, the prince turned his attention toward the vast mineral wealth hidden in the northern mines. A gift from the Kelly family, a rare rainbow stone, led Roland to the discovery of massive bauxite deposits. He recognized that aluminum would be the key to building the next generation of airships and industrial machinery. Meanwhile, on Slumber Island, Princess Tilly welcomed her sisters home to their sanctuary for witches. Tilly brought back books and knowledge from Bordertown, hoping to educate her followers in the ways of science. The legendary explorer Thunder shared stories of the sea line, where seawater flows vertically like a wall. This gravity-defying phenomenon hinted at a world far more complex than anyone had previously imagined. Back in Neverwinter, the first steel warship, the Roland 1, was finally completed under Anna's supervision. Roland officially named the vessel, decreeing that it would represent an entire class of ironclads. Reports from the capital indicated that Timothy had sent a fleet to blockade the Redwater River. Roland smiled, knowing that his new technology was about to undergo its first true test in naval combat. The steel monster barreled through the water, leaving a trail of black smoke in its wake. The enemy sailors could only watch in horror as the ironclad rammed directly into their wooden blockade. Heavy machine guns mounted on the deck tore through shields and wooden hulls with ease. Within minutes, the blockade was destroyed, and the path to the capital lay open. As they approached the city, Sylvie detected gunpowder buried beneath the docks as a trap. Roland ordered his long-range artillery to detonate the hidden explosives before his troops even landed. The city gates were obliterated by high-explosive shells, signaling the final collapse of Timothy's defenses. Roland entered the throne room once more, this time to judge the corrupt aristocrats who had enabled his brother. He played a lethal game of interrogation, using Nightingale to detect every lie spoken by the ministers. Down in the dungeons, Roland confronted Timothy, who claimed their father had committed suicide while possessed. This revelation suggested that a pure witch from the church might have been controlling the king from the start. Timothy was sentenced to the guillotine, ending his short and bloody reign forever. Seeking more answers, Roland visited the ancient astronomy tower to study the stars. The old scholar Masson revealed an ancient golden brick containing a prophecy from Roland's ancestors. The prophecy spoke of the Star of Doom, a crimson moon that would herald the end of the world. Roland realized that the church, the devils, and the red moon were all interconnected in an ancient war. In the north, the sharp-witted Iris Candle orchestrated her family's surrender to the new king. She arrived in Neverwinter to negotiate, presenting herself as a daughter but acting as a master diplomat. Roland found her intelligence and beauty refreshing, seeing her as a valuable ally for his centralized government. Kyle Sichi successfully recruited the royal alchemists, promising them the true secrets of matter in Neverwinter. The arrival of battle-hardened witches from the Bloodfang Association created new friction within the Witch Union. Roland was forced to intervene when Evie's arrogance led to her hurting Maggie during a training duel. He taught the newcomers that support witches were the heart of industrial power, not just tools for violence. After seeing the scars of E's past, Roland realized the cruelty she had endured under Heidi Morgan. Plans were drawn for Operation Melting Point, a high-stakes mission to capture a live devil for study. As the expedition prepared to depart, the shadow of the Magic Slayer loomed over the northern horizon. Roland watched the ships sail away, knowing that their survival would determine the fate of all humanity. But far to the east, a secret message from the Kingdom of Dawn arrived, carrying a warning that would change everything. The pure witches of the church had already begun their infiltration of the neighboring royal courts. Roland clenched his fist as he read the report, realizing the church was moving faster than he had anticipated. If the church could nullify the stones of divine judgment, then Neverwinter's defenses were already compromised. As a distant horn echoed through the mountains, Roland wondered if he had enough time to prepare for the storm ahead. The distant horn's echo fades as Roland stands atop the castle walls, watching the gathering storm clouds. He turns his attention to the detailed blueprints spread across his heavy oak desk. The mission, code-named Operation Melting Point, is officially authorized for immediate execution. Agatha explains that capturing a live specimen is the only way to advance their magical defenses. The elite team boards the steamboat as the engines begin to chug with mechanical rhythm. Nightingale shifts into the mist, her form flickering between reality and the shadow realm. Lightning hovers above the deck, her eyes scanning the tree line of the Redwater River. Sylvie activates her spiritual eye, seeing the world in shades of magical energy. Suddenly, a massive surge of malicious power erupts from the distant forest. Sylvie screams a warning as 5 dark shapes launch into the sky. 4 flying devil beasts dive toward the steamboat with wings like tattered leather. Behind them floats a single armored figure, defying gravity without the need for a steed. Agatha pales as she recognizes the creature as a legendary magic slayer. The armored devil raises a hand, and a massive black sword materializes in the air. He hurls the blade with a force that shatters the sound barrier. Anna steps forward, her hands erupting into intense black flames to intercept the projectile. The black sword impacts the fire shield, sending a massive shockwave across the river. Nightingale's mist world begins to crack and dissolve under the devil's aura. The magic slayer descends like a falling star, crashing directly into the center of the deck. He swings his heavy sword in a wide arc, forcing the witches to scatter in all directions. Nightingale attempts a stealth strike, but the devil catches her daggers with his bare gauntlets. With a brutal kick, the monster sends Nightingale flying through the wooden cabin walls. Evie focuses her remaining magic to manifest a glowing cage around the beast. The magic slayer roars, and the glowing bars of the cage begin to bend and shatter. Anna realizes the only way to end this is to activate the prototype Divine Sigil. She pours every drop of her magic into the sigil, her eyes glowing with blinding white light. A pillar of pure energy erupts from the stone, piercing through the magic slayer's chest. The devil lets out a final, bone-chilling screech before collapsing into a pile of charred armor. Silence falls over the river, broken only by the sound of the ship's idle engines. Nightingale limps toward the unconscious Anna, checking her pulse with trembling fingers. Maggie discovers a small, intricate metal box hidden inside the devil's breastplate. Inside lie 3 high-quality magic stones, far superior to anything they have seen. The survivors gather the remains and prepare to return to Neverwinter with their grim cargo. Back at the castle, Roland reviews the report with a heavy heart. The cost of victory was high, but the knowledge gained is invaluable for the war to come. He visits the medical wing, seeing Anna finally awake and resting peacefully. Nightingale watches from the shadows, her resolve to protect this peaceful future stronger than ever. Roland walks out onto the balcony, addressing the gathered citizens of his thriving city. The industrial heart of Neverwinter beats louder than the drums of war. Together, they stand ready to face the red moon and whatever lies beyond the stars.